Welcome to the Navy STP Tech Talk for Scientific Systems Company. This talk will be discussing NASH, our novel autonomous system tactics leveraging hypergames technology that was developed for the Office of Naval Research under SBIR topic N68096. I am the principal investigator for the program, Dr. Gavin Strunk. Before discussing NASH, I'll give some background on SSCI. Scientific Systems Company is a small business with its headquarters located in Woburn, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston, and several additional offices across the U.S., including DC and Salt Lake City. SSCI has a little over 100 employees and has been working on autonomy for the Department of Defense for several decades. Our autonomy technologies have created new possibilities for utilizing autonomy and AI in space, as well as enabling dozens of unmanned aircraft to operate in coordination. SSCI has developed advanced maritime autonomy for missions both above and below the sea surface and provided land-based troops with real-time situational awareness. SSCI's history of developing autonomy solutions includes a variety of programs supporting agencies from DARPA, other DoD agencies, and NASA. The graphic shows a portion of the programs that have been executed which span numerous military domains, including multi-domain applications. Our long history of developing advanced autonomy solutions has put SSCI at the forefront in single and multi-vehicle autonomy technology. As the adoption of autonomous systems increases, the difficulty of the relevant applications is also increasing. SSCI's mission is to develop autonomy solutions that provide cognitive capabilities to team effectively with humans and engage against smart human adversaries. The goal is to progress autonomy from the relatively mature core autonomy at level 1 to intelligent cognitive autonomy at level 5. Starting at the lowest level, core autonomy capabilities such as waypoint following and collision avoidance have been the workhorse of single autonomous vehicle applications. However, core autonomy can struggle to perform reliably in dynamic environments, which leads to complex autonomy. Complex autonomy addresses more challenging missions by incorporating the human on the loop to provide supervision and corrective actions if needed. Moving up the scale, collaborative autonomy leverages multiple assets to achieve joint missions, which enables faster and lower-cost autonomous collaboration. Composable autonomy extends this idea to multi-domain capabilities that leverage advantages specific to various domains to surpass the single domain capabilities. Finally, cognitive autonomy aims to understand the mission objectives and make intelligent decisions in dynamic environments against intelligent adversaries. The goal of NASH is to provide cognitive autonomy for anti-submarine warfare applications. A challenge the Navy is facing is adversaries are rapidly developing highly capable submarines that are becoming increasingly difficult to detect and maintain tracks on. Superiority in anti-submarine warfare is critically important for the Navy to maintain its maritime dominance. To combat this rising threat, the Navy has been exploring the use of unmanned surface vehicles to complement human-operated platforms for anti-submarine operations. One example is a team of USVs could provide persistent target searching and maintaining tracks until more capable human-operated vessels arrive in the theater. The challenge in leveraging USVs for anti-submarine missions is the submarines are highly capable compared to the current USVs. Submarines are typically able to travel faster than the USVs and are also capable of moving slowly and being extremely quiet, making them hard to detect. Core and even collaborative autonomy are not able to reliably succeed with this large operating window combined with an intelligent human adversary operating the submarine. The goal of the NASH program is to develop a cognitive autonomy approach to perform robust, successful operations when a platform is outmatched and/or competing against an intelligent adversary. Traditional autonomy, or core autonomy, typically refers to the sense, decide, act paradigm. A concrete example would be a USV detects a submarine, then moves towards the submarine's detected location. This approach works well if your platform is sufficiently more capable than the target, meaning you can catch up if you fall behind or make a bad decision. However, this approach does not work well when a platform is outmatched by the target and is not able to catch up or make corrections for what the adversary is doing. A simple example is if the submarine turns away from the USV and increases its speed beyond the USV's maximum speed, the USV will not be able to catch up. There are two approaches for improving the USV's performance. One is improving the hardware itself, for example, making the USV faster or increasing the range of the sensors. The second option is anticipating the adversary's future actions to make the platform effectively more capable. The first option is typically time-consuming and expensive to develop and field new hardware platforms, so instead we focus on the second approach, which allows us to get more capabilities out of the current platforms. Collaborative autonomy can help partially close the capability gap by using multiple platforms and predicting where the adversary will go based on the last detection. This approach works well when the adversary makes predictable and relatively simple maneuvers because the predictions are fairly accurate. But human adversaries are capable of making complex compositions of maneuvers, resulting in complex behavior. Therefore, Nash predicts not only the future behavior of the adversary, but also how the adversary will respond to Nash's actions. These predictions are used to choose actions that make it challenging or even deceiving to the adversary who is attempting to determine the USV's true objective. The predictions are also used to influence the adversary to react to the USV's action in a manner that is beneficial for the long-term success of the USVs. This concept will be discussed in more detail later in the presentation. A high-level view of an adversarial scenario is shown in the figure on the top right. The red box shows the components that make up an intelligent adversary. This agent could be another intelligent autonomous system, or the entire box can be replaced by a human operating a platform. The blue box outlines the components of Nash. Nash receives environment heuristics such as where land masses are located, as well as observations or detections of the red adversary. This information is used in combination with the goal or mission objective for Nash to achieve to produce actions for the blue agents to take. Nash's cognitive capability comes from modeling what it thinks the red agent is trying to do or what their objective is, as well as modeling what Nash thinks the adversary thinks Nash is trying to achieve. These models are combined to approximate the red agent's counter policy, or how the red agent will respond to observing the blue agent's actions. Finally, combining the anticipated response from the red and the true blue objective, Nash chooses actions that achieve its goals while simultaneously trying to hide its intention from the red agent. A part of this modeling involves accounting for the red agent's maneuvering and sensing models, which are updated as detections are collected to converge to more accurate models. In this manner, Nash does not rely on perfect models of the adversary. Let's consider a simple example to see how this increases the effective capabilities of the USVs. In the image on the bottom right, we can see a red submarine with the goal of getting to the yellow X. The two blue USVs do not know that this is the submarine's goal, but they predict the submarine is trying to move toward the bottom of the map to move around the land obstacle. The USV at the top will not be able to assist if this happens, so the closer USV sends a ping which causes the submarine to move toward the top of the map in response. This pushes the submarine towards the second USV where it can continue tracking. Although this is a simple example, it demonstrates how this approach moves well beyond traditional autonomy to predict and even influence the actions of an adversary. Nash is built on several prior programs. First, SSCI has performed an SBIR Phase 1 and 2 for the development of collaborative autonomy behaviors for searching and tracking targets using USVs. In the DARPA Active program, a game-theoretic approach was used to improve USV's ability to reacquire an adversarial submarine when a track was lost. This program demonstrated 30% faster target reacquisition in a simulated anti-submarine warfare scenario. Finally, the DARPA Shadow program extended these ideas by using sequential hypergaming to exploit misperception in anti-aircraft scenarios. A 17 times increase in mission performance was demonstrated in simulation. So far, NASH has demonstrated a 26% improvement in tracking performance in a simulated anti-submarine warfare scenario. NASH has also demonstrated tracking against an intelligent submarine in scenarios when collaborative autonomy fails to maintain the submarine track. We expect further improvements in performance by the end of Phase 2, but some key advantages of NASH have already been observed. On this slide, we summarize the key features, advantages, and benefits of our approach. The first key feature is cognitive adversarial autonomy, which allows us to focus our assets on the most likely future actions of the adversary, increasing the platform's effective capability. The advantage of this approach is providing predictions of not only the adversary's current and future decisions, but also their response to our actions. The next key feature is the robust predictive modeling. NASH relies on models to provide the necessary predictions, but these models are not perfect and need to be adapted based on observations to provide robustness in real-world scenarios. The advantage is NASH's ability to relax the assumption of having perfect models. Another key feature is the formulation of the hypergame approach, which is typically computationally intensive. NASH's approximate formulation has the advantage of computational tractability, which allows it to be executed with modern USV computational resources without sacrificing significant accuracy reductions. Lastly, NASH is only loosely coupled to the USV platform, which enables deployment to various platforms that support the UMA standard. Loose coupling to the platform is a key advantage to future-proof successful transition as new USVs are developed and fielded. The next steps SSEI is taking to progress toward transition to the fleet is a demonstration of NASH executing an anti-submarine warfare scenario in a high-fidelity simulation. That will be followed with on-water or live virtual constructive demonstrations using multiple USVs and a target. The higher fidelity simulation includes more accurate adversarial tactics, which allows us to track performance against an intelligent adversary, and higher fidelity sensor models for both the USVs and submarine, which provides realistic probabilities of detection given a specific sensing modality. To move to full on-water or live virtual constructive demonstration, NASH makes a few assumptions about the capabilities a USV has. First, the USV needs a basic UMA-compliant autonomy system, including waypoint following. Next, the USV is assumed to have a submarine detection sensor and processing capability. This could be passive or active, but NASH requires some way of detecting the adversary to update models with sensor observations. The final assumption is a communication system, which allows the USV team to communicate to each other. This could be point-to-point or satellite communication, and it is acceptable to have both bandwidth and latency limitations. These features satisfy the input and output requirements for NASH to get observations from the environment and execute USV actions. These capabilities are also basic features of almost any USV, which enables NASH to transition to many of the currently developed USVs. SSEI has a variety of transition strategies depending on the Navy's needs. One option is to work directly with the Navy to integrate NASH on a prototype or fielded platform for experimental demonstrations. This approach is valuable for quantifying the operational benefit of NASH in a live scenario. A second approach, which is part of our long-term business model, is to collaborate with prime contractors to integrate NASH onto their USV platforms and provide a complete system for the Navy. SSEI's flexibility and integration options is enabled by compliance with the UMA standard for communication and messaging, as well as containerized deployment. Although this is the primary supported deployment, other interfacing protocols and deployment options can be accommodated if needed. Thank you so much for your attention, and if you are attending Sea, Air, and Space 2024, stop by and talk to us if you have any questions or would like to have a discussion. If you cannot catch us there and would like to chat or have an application that could benefit from cognitive adversarial autonomy, feel free to reach out to myself or SSCI's VP of Technologies, Scott Littlefield, at the contact information provided. Thank you for your attention.